You think Nietzsche would have cried over being left on, read by some girl in a knockoff bikini? Hell no. If Nietzsche were in Pattaya, he wouldn't be chasing, simping, or fumbling over some ghost text from a girl he bar fined 2 nights ago. He'd be the calmest man in the club, smoking in silence, eyes sharp, watching chaos swirl while staying 10 steps ahead. No reactions, no regrets, just ruthless clarity, because Nietzsche didn't see women as enemies or puzzles. He saw patterns, power dynamics, the games, and he refused to play blind. Over a century ago, he warned men, if you don't understand how power works, especially in relationships, you'll be controlled without even knowing it. Most guys here, they still don't get it. They fall in love after 3 Long Islands and a hand job, and then they wonder why she disappears when the money or dopamine runs out. But once you see what Nietzsche saw, Pattaya changes. You stop reacting, you start watching, you stop chasing, you start choosing. And that's when you become untouchable. Pull up a chair. This is the Pattaya Red Pill Report, and today we're diving into 16 savage truths Nietzsche knew about women, and why mastering them might be the only way to survive out here. Before we start handing out philosophical slaps, hit that subscribe button like it's a line of credit you'll never give her. Drop a like if you've ever caught feelings in Pattaya and paid the price for it. And share this with a brother who still thinks texting her 3 times in a row is a strategy. Because today, we're not playing the game. We're rewriting the fucking rule book. Rule 1, he who needs nothing has the most power. In Nietzsche's world, the moment you need something, you're no longer free. And in Pattaya, that truth hits harder than a check bin after a 3-girl night. You ever seen a guy lose his mind because she didn't text back after a short time? That's needy as fuck. You ever seen a tourist pay her rent, send her phone credit, and still get ghosted? That's weakness dressed up as generosity. Need is the leash she uses. The Ubermensch? He doesn't beg for affection. He doesn't crave attention. He doesn't need her validation to feel like a man. He walks into the bar like he owns the building, because he doesn't want anything from anyone. And that's when they notice. In Pattaya, the man who needs nothing is the most dangerous guy in the room. Because when she sees you don't need her, she starts wondering why. Why you're calm, why you're not chasing, why her games don't work on you. And that's when the dynamic flips. You stop orbiting her, and she starts circling you. Need nothing. Own everything. Rule 2, never argue emotionally. Rise above the chaos. If you haven't figured it out yet, Pattaya is one big emotional minefield, especially when you upgrade a working girl into a girlfriend. 1 minute she's sweet, the next she's screaming about why you didn't text back at 4 a.m. while she was just with friends. This is a test, not of your love, of your control. Nietzsche understood that the man who stays calm in emotional chaos holds all the power. Why? Because when you argue with emotion, you've already lost. You're reacting, you're defending, you're dancing to her tune, and in Pattaya, that's how she knows she owns you. You don't win here by shouting louder or texting paragraphs at 2 a.m. You win by silence, by stillness, by detachment so cold it makes her question her own grip on reality. Let her scream, let her test. You sit back, sip your drink, and watch the storm pass, because the one who keeps his center, he wins. Always emotion is her weapon. Stillness is yours. Rule 3, own your shadow or she'll use it against you. Nietzsche said every man has a shadow, the parts of yourself you're ashamed of, afraid of, or trying to forget. In Pattaya, that shadow's not just exposed, it's bait. Because out here, she will find your weakness, your guilt, your loneliness, your need to feel like a hero. And she'll press on it with a smile so sweet you won't even realize you're bleeding. She'll ask about your ex, she'll joke about your age, she'll make you feel like maybe, just maybe, you're not enough. And if you haven't made peace with that darkness inside, you'll fold, you'll defend, you'll explain, you'll pay. But the Ubermensch, he's already walked through hell and shook hands with every demon in it. You can't shame a man who's already owned his scars. You can't manipulate someone who knows his own darkness and doesn't flinch when you mention it. She says you're broken. You say, I know. She brings up your past. You smirk and say, that was a good day. That's your armor. Own your shit, or someone else will weaponize it. Rule 4, don't compete for her attention. Compete with yourself. In Pattaya, The moment you try to stand out, you blend in with every other tourist begging for attention. The laughs, the drinks, the dumb stories, they're all noise to her. And if you're one of the many chasing her eyes, you're already beneath her feet. Nietzsche didn't compete. He evolved. He believed the real battle was internal, against comfort, distraction, and weakness. That's the fight that makes you magnetic. You don't win her by trying to be seen. You win by being so dialed in on your mission that she wonders why you're not looking her way. Most men in Pattaya orbit women. The Ubermensch makes them shift their gravity. You're not a contestant. You're the fucking prize. Rule 5, be dangerous but controlled. In Pattaya, there's the nice guy she ignores and the reckless one she regrets. You don't want to be either. Nietzsche respected power, but only when it was mastered. The man who could burn it all down but doesn't, that's the one she remembers. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being grounded, calm, controlled, but with just enough edge that she knows not to fuck with you. When you walk into a bar, don't be loud. Be felt. She doesn't want a pushover, and she doesn't want a loose cannon. She wants a man with fire behind his eyes, but steel in his spine. Be the one she fears a little and respects a lot. That's not intimidation. That's discipline. You don't prove strength by flexing it. You prove it by not needing to. Rule 6, don't explain yourself. In Pattaya, weakness doesn't show up as tears. It shows up as over-explaining. She asks why you didn't text. You send a novel, she gets cold. You start apologizing, justifying, chasing clarity. Congratulations. You just gave her the frame. Nietzsche knew that power doesn't explain. It just is. Every time you feel the urge to justify yourself, stop. That's insecurity talking. The Ubermensch doesn't fill silences. He lets them work for him. She says, "Where were you last night?" You say, "Busy." Not angry, not defensive, just calm. Solid. Let her wonder. The man who needs to be understood is already beneath her. The man who stands in his truth makes her lean in. Mystery builds power. Certainty keeps it. So stop explaining. Start owning. Rule 7. Never chase, let her wonder. Pattaya is full of men running, chasing girls, chasing attention, chasing the idea of being wanted. And every one of them is easy to control. Nietzsche didn't chase. He chose. He understood something most men never will. The second you chase, you drop your value. In Pattaya, the game is brutal. If you chase her, she plays you. If you wait, she wonders. You think buying her dinner, texting her sweet shit, and acting different is going to change the outcome? It won't. She's seen it 1,000 times. But the man who doesn't chase, the one who's willing to walk at any moment, that's the one who haunts her. When she doesn't know where she stands with you, she starts investing. When you chase, she gets bored. When you pull back, she leans in. You're not here to earn her. You're here to see if she even qualifies. That's the difference. Rule 8. She can test you, but you can't break. Every girl in Pattaya has one thing in common. She will test you, not because she's evil, because she has to. She'll push buttons, stir drama, accuse you of not caring, go cold just to see how you react. And most guys, they crumble, they argue, they beg to be understood. That's when the power shifts, and she owns you. Nietzsche saw life as a forge. Pain was the hammer, pressure was the test. The Ubermensch doesn't flinch. He doesn't explain. He doesn't take the bait. He expects the test and passes it by staying unmoved. In Pattaya, it's the same. You want her respect? Don't react. Don't chase clarity. Don't fold when she goes silent. Smile. Stay centered. Let her burn herself out trying to shake you. Because the man who stays grounded when the storm hits, that's the one she remembers. She can test you. You just never break. So that's the first 8 rules. And if those didn't slap you out of fantasy mode, you're already doing better than half the guys in Pattaya right now. But we're not done. Because what's coming next? It's where the real game flips. We're talking silence, frame, discipline, legacy. The stuff that separates the men who get played from the ones who get followed. So here's what you do. Smash like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Part 2's coming, and it's going to tear your comfort zone in half. And if you got a friend stuck in simp hell, send this his way before he wires her another 20,000 baht to help with rent. I'm Josh, and this was your Pattaya Red Pill Report. If the truth hurts, good. That means you're still alive. See you next round.